everybody turn your mics on. All right, we got 1 minute. Okay, I will call to order the Rolesville Town Board meeting. This is July 1, 2025. I want to thank, we got a good-looking crowd out there, so appreciate everybody coming out. I know we got a lot of fire department people out there, it looks like, and we also have a lot of people like from Wall Creek and different areas over there, so appreciate you guys coming out. We're going to start off by invocation by Pastor Josh Stewart from the News Baptist Church. So if you come up, Josh, and start us with prayer, and then we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this opportunity we have to be here tonight. Lord, we thank you for the privilege to come to you in prayer through Jesus Christ. Lord, we ask of you at this meeting tonight, Lord, may you be honored through it. God, would you give us wisdom and unity? Lord, may you be glorified. Lord, we thank you for the freedom we have in this country. We will celebrate on Friday. And Lord, we thank you for those that are in uniform here and abroad that are serving and sacrificing so that we can be free. Lord, would you bless them and would you keep them safe? Well, thank you for it. In Christ we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Quite a few pastors in the house tonight, looks like, so I think we're covered pretty good tonight. Thanks for coming out, Josh, though. I do appreciate that. Always good to start with prayer. So next items, we got a couple of proclamations we're going to do. One is Parks and Rec Month, and the other one is Patriotic Month. And I think, Paul Bilgo, are you going to read the proclamation for Parks and Recreation Month?
Yep, proclamation of the Town of Rolesville designation of July as Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout the country, including the Town of Rolesville. And whereas Parks and Recreation promote health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas Parks and Recreation promote time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourage physical activities by providing safe for popular sports, hiking, trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designated to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation is a leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition services, and education, and whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increase communities' economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas Parks and Recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, whereas the Town of Rolesville recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board of Commissioners that July is recognized as Park and Recreation Month in the Town of Rolesville.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. And then the other one, the Patriotic Month. Dan, you want to read that one for us?
Yes, sir. Proclamation of the Town of Rolesville, recognizing July as Patriotic Month. Whereas the month of July holds deep historical significance for our nation, as it marks the anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776, a defining moment in the pursuit of liberty and democracy. And whereas this month provides an opportunity to reflect on the values of freedom, justice, and unity that form the foundation of the United States of America. And whereas we honor the generations of Americans, military service members, veterans, our first responders, public servants, and engaged citizens who have demonstrated extraordinary dedication to the ideals of our nation and the betterment of our communities. And whereas Patriotic Month serves as a time for all residents to come together in celebration of our shared identity, to display the American flag, participate in civic events, and reflect on responsibilities of citizenship. And whereas fostering patriotism strengthens civic pride, encourages public service, and remind us of the importance of unity in preserving the freedoms we cherish. Now, therefore, Mayor Curran, Mayor of Rolesville, do hereby proclaim the month of July as Patriotic Month in Rolesville, North Carolina, and commend its observance to all of our citizens. Adopted today, July 1st, 2025.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and this week, we're going to celebrate patriotic with the 4th of July celebration.
Yes, sir.
It's on the 4th, and that's a Friday, I think, right, June?
Yes, sir.
So June, you guys are doing a good job putting that together, so invite everybody to that. I think the Embers will be there. Is that confirmed, June? So that's old school. Some of you have seen them before, but it's been a long, long time ago, maybe. Well, this is your time to see them again. I'm sure they got some new faces when you go. But I'm looking forward to it and hope everybody else can come out and just do a little patriotic thing Friday. So thanks so much. Appreciate you reading that, Dan. Next item is consideration of our agenda for tonight. Understand there is a possibility the board may vote on a continuation with one of the items on the agenda that has to do with the text amendment. So I'm going to let the applicant come up and say a few words. But first, I'll just say, kind of predicate what he's going to say. I know a lot of you guys are in that area of Wall Creek over there where the proposed new Chapel Hill tire facility was going to go. Had a neighborhood meeting that some of you attended, and some of you have reached out to the board, and the applicant has withdrawn that application. So it has been withdrawn to be at Greenways. But he's still interested if another property comes up to be in Rolesville. And I think some of y'all expressed the idea that it'd be good to have them here in Rolesville. It was just the location was bad. And I think he's kind of has said that it won't be on Main Street. So it's another location. But what we're going to do is probably hear this text amendment at some point in time after he gets his stuff worked out for the deal. But it has been withdrawn. So if you was here to talk in opposition to being at Greenways, you was heard already. So you don't have to say no more. So I'll turn it over to you. Introduce yourself, your address, and kind of what you got in mind for the board to do a continuation
Thank you,
here.
Mayor Curran, Mayor Pro Tem Sneed, members of the board. My name is Patrick Biker. I'm with Morningstar Law Group. We have offices in downtown Raleigh, downtown Durham. It's been my privilege for the last few years to work with Chapel Hill Tire and representing them tonight. And to amplify what the mayor said, we did withdraw the rezoning for 519 South Main Street, and we've terminated the contract, so we no longer have any interest or ability to relocate or to locate a Chapel Hill Tire store at 519 South Main Street, and we're no longer looking in that Main Street corridor. We're looking at sites in other parts of Rolesville. Want to find a site that's appropriately zoned for vehicle service minor, which would be this use. Mayor, I do want to thank you for spending time with us to evaluate those options, and your staff has been outstanding. I have to say the customer service in Rolesville is second to none. I've been doing this type of work for over 30 years, and it's been just great to work with your folks. So we would respectfully ask for this to be postponed. I understand if it could be heard on September 2nd, that would be a good day.
We'll make that part of our
that works.
motion.
That would work for us. It's just, how it is with schedules, and especially in the summertime, just want to make sure that we schedule something when it's convenient for everybody. But again, thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you for, having folks that really rolled up their sleeves, looked at everything with us, and I think we've made the right decision in regards to the 519 South Main Street location. But again, on behalf of Chapel Hill Tire, they have 12 locations in the Triangle right now. They would love to be in your community, and we'll hopefully find the right place for that where it would be the appropriate location. So look forward to seeing the board at a future date. Thank you very much for your time. I'll be happy to answer any questions if I can.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other items for the agenda the board wants to discuss or talk about? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the consideration of rescheduling the text amendment to a date that you require in the motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda with the date for the new annexation -25-01 to be scheduled on September 2nd.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Now, is any other discussion? If not hearing any, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, no. Sounds like the ayes have it. The ayes do have it, so the motion is approved. So we have an agenda, and we're going to postpone it. Thanks, Wall Creek and the people around Wall Creek. Also, Main Street, I don't see none of the Main Street committee here. Maybe it is, but thank y'all. Yeah, I see one. Okay. Well, thank y'all for coming out, and there'll be some more discussion on this in the future. If you still want to speak, we're not going to have a public hearing, but you can speak at the when the public is heard if you want to. So thanks very much for coming out. Thanks. All right. So now's the time for the public to be heard. So if you came to speak and you really want to speak, this is your time. Did anybody sign up?
Signed up for the public comment.
Okay. And who is that?
Did somebody, okay, so this is for the hearing. Do you think I want to speak for public comment? Yes. I'm sorry. Did you want to sign the public comment?
Okay. Thank you. Come up and state your name and address for the record, if you would.
Okay, there's a line. So, hi, my name is Tom Shepard. I live over in Wall Creek, and wanted just to mention a couple things regarding TA-25-04. That's in regards to the first portion, which is the text amendment about adding 3 bays, front-facing to the road, and then unlimited behind it. It was initiated by the Chapel Hill Tire point that we saw last, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, and it became a really point of reference across the entire corridor there, because there's just a lot of car places up and down that road, and we don't need any more minor repair in that portion of it. It's very crowded, a high density piece. More family friendly, or with a bigger variety of businesses around there to actually support what we wanted to do as a community, and what was promised as we started to increase and we started to build up this new improvement site, which has been great. But that variety is what brings in more people. That variety is what makes it more inviting around the area and brings it to a destination point. The other part is with the new sports center that's coming up there, which is really exciting for everybody around here and going to be used. I can tell you that. People are going to be there. They're going to want to walk around to restaurants. They're going to want to walk around to areas of coffee shop, maybe a florist for something, candy shops, anything, right, that's actually building up a community where people can get together, talk, complain about the referees at the ball game, be excited about the coaching and bring that point of community. I don't think another minor repair space does that effectively because we have Meineke, we have Pete's, we have Expert Tire Care, and we have all in this community supported them in a very positive way. And they've been great for the community. But another one doesn't necessarily add value or add to what I think the entire entire town wants to build up. So it's my viewpoint, and I appreciate you guys allowing me to voice that. And please listen to what we have to say, because we're going to be living here just like you guys. And it's exciting time, but we want to make sure that it's a really nice place to be. So thanks. Oh, by the way, just a point, I've been here 20 years. We moved here, it was like 1,800 people, and it was destination for us. And we like it to be destination for a lot of other people. So thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Can I get the list? Rick, can you bring that forward to me? Can I kind of get you a little exercise there if you want to? Okay, Rick Edens, 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. I've rehearsed. I'm glad to have an audience. It's been a while since I've been in front of this many people, so good evening. I want to start by telling a little story. I was at a meeting 20-some years ago in Raleigh. It was a farmers' meeting. May have been at the farmers' market. I'm not sure they were there then. Knew it. But anyway, we were a nice breakfast setting, coffee cups, tea glasses, water glasses, and the farmer got up and he said, I'm really tired. I'm worn out. He's an old guy. So he took the pitcher of water, filled up the glass, right up to the edge. And he said, I'm kind of like this glass. I'm just full. I've just had enough. So all of a sudden he picked the pitcher up. He poured the water in there a little bit and it started running over. And he said, I'm like this glass. I can't handle no more. By that time, he dumped the rest of the pitcher onto the glass. Water went off the tablecloth, down on the floor. And he said, I just figured that's worth 1,000 words. So that's where I'm kind of with the Main Street project. So, but I want to say first, thank you for getting the detour signs right down here instead of being upside down. For 12 months, over a year, they finally turned them around this week. Thank you for getting the erosion fences pulled back up. Like an old man with his britches, you got to pull them up. The wire, they cut loose, and there's 2 left in front of the fire department building. CrossFit and then Wake Forest HVAC. Those erosion fences are laying flat on the ground. Either take them up, or, if they're no good, get rid of them. Right now, there is an extremely bad bump in front of Main Street Collective. If anybody's been through it, it will jar your car, truck, whatever. It's been now a month or more. Now, the other thing I noticed is street sweeper. I looked tonight when I came through town. There is a street sweeper up there. But I figured the battery must be dead in it because I don't see them trying to get the mud off the road before the rains. In front of the businesses, in front of CrossFit. Over at Main Street, there's a parking lot next to the Main Street Collective. They go in and out there, and there's mud. Last Thursday, we were here. We had an update from the town. 5 employees from the town, 6 business owners. CrossFit reported having muddy water problems. They've spent $1,200 out of pocket for repairs, and actually put in a filter. And the guy told them, the plumber, you need more filter system. So, and I've reminded Megan, she needs to turn it into the town, like Eric said, town manager. Susanna's Antiques, oh boy, I'm in trouble. $150 of damages where they are running the packing over there on the other side of the road for the new asphalt, and it's shaking items off the shelf. $150 of damage. So I'm here to say, look, I'm over 70 years old. I've had a lot of stress and pressure. This thing's been going on for years, but it's really been tough in the last 12 months plus. I don't want a lawsuit. I don't want to have to file a lawsuit for broken windows. Those store windows over there are big and they're old. Those plate glass windows. So I hope when they get on our side of the road and that thing's doing this, that it doesn't do damage. I'm concerned because I don't want damages. I don't need damages. I don't. There's too many headaches, town manager. All right, now, 9 months. I heard 9 months is what they're looking at to finish this thing. Another 2 months plus or minus to get the road open, the intersection, and then 9 months to finish it completely with the pavers, planters and stuff. Now, I don't understand why is it going to take that long when we went 4 or 5 months last year with no work done, and the excuse was the water lines. So what is the excuse they can't finish this thing when they get the road? Why can't they keep going and get the pavers in? I don't know what the problem is. So, I think personally, and I've expressed this with probably 1 or 2 of you, we need a construction attorney. I didn't know what that was, but I've had a lot of people, friends, legal people in the legal community say, we need a construction attorney and we need to put RKK Engineering on the front line because they were the ones that did the due diligence. This town paid them a lot of money to find out where the problems are. Had no problems until they put the shovel in the ground and then, but anyway, thank you. The end.
Thanks, Rick.
Good night.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Is it Jahan Salem? Did I pronounce that right?
I'm going to try to beat the timer.
Okay.
I'm going to go fast with an accent. You have to keep up with me.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of Rolesville residents who are deeply invested in the future of our town. We appreciate your commitment to thoughtful planning, and we want to share both our concerns and our vision for Rolesville's continued growth. First, we are concerned about the impact of new development on traffic during peak commuting hours. Every weekday, parents are navigating crowded roads to pick up their children from Tales, Rolesville Elementary, and Sanford Creek, while many others are simply trying to get home from work. Recent traffic studies confirm these are already high traffic periods, and in any additional strain could seriously affect safety and quality of life for our families. Second, we worry that new businesses may bring inadequate parking and increase wear and tear on our roads. As traffic grows, so does the risk of potholes and damaged sidewalks, issues that our town is already working hard to address. Third, we are troubled by the prospect of construction and blasting to remove sound structures. Demolition and heavy construction can disrupt neighborhoods, create noise, and pose safety risks. We ask that the town enforce all safety and noise regulations and carefully consider whether such drastic measures are truly necessary. Additionally, we are concerned about the oversaturation of auto-related businesses in the south end of Rolesville. With 2 tire and auto shops and 2 auto stores already in the area, adding more similar businesses does not serve the diverse needs of our growing community. Instead, it risks creating environmental hazards such as ground contamination from chemicals and unsightly piles of used tires, issues that research shows can have long-term negative effects on both our environment and our town's appearance. Most importantly, we believe these development choices do not fit Rolesville's original vision as a destination town. Our community wants a walkable, beautiful place where people can stroll from shop to shop, enjoy local restaurants, and spend time together in inviting public spaces. We want a variety of businesses and services spread throughout town, not just more car-centric development. Therefore, we respectfully request that the town commissioners and planning board first prioritize walkability, connectivity, and public beauty in all planning decisions. Second, encourage a balanced mix of businesses that enhance our town's vibrancy. Third, require comprehensive traffic and environmental studies for new developments. And fourth, uphold Rolesville's vision as a destination where residents and visitors alike can enjoy a high quality of life. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your commitment to the future of Roseville. Sincerely, Jihan Salem.
Thank you.
Is it
Thank
on
you for coming.
time?
Thank you for coming out. Appreciate that.
I do.
Is it Kavia still? Is that, did I say that right? Come up, pronounce your name correctly and
Karina.
Karina.
Yeah.
And state your address if you would for us.
I'm actually in North Raleigh, but I am a senior specialist realtor. And so I work the whole triangle area, and I'm here to speak on behalf of senior housing.
Okay.
So I work deeply with the senior community, and a lot of people are not aware of the statistics. 11,000 people a day in the United States turn 65. And by the year 2030, we'll actually, for the first time in history, have more people over 65 than under the age of 18. It is known in the senior industry as the senior tsunami. So those seniors need housing, services, all of the things that we would need at that age. And I have a list always of seniors who are needing affordable housing. So I'd just like to impress upon you the need for that, and that Rolesville could be really a haven for seniors who need a place to go. They need to be able to get out of homes that no longer work well for them, for their health and well-being. And so anything you can do to provide that type of housing in this area, particularly housing they could afford, would be welcomed from that community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you very much.
And now Melanie Crippen. Come on up. How
Thank
you
you,
doing?
Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Melanie Crippen, and I am the Executive Director of the Senior Network. I live right here in Roseville in Cedar Lakes, and we serve seniors from all backgrounds and walks of life. We're a nonprofit organization. And we are very concerned about the way seniors are treated, not just here, across the board. As Karina mentioned, in the next 5 years, seniors are going to outnumber the younger population, and we're not prepared for it. Across the country, across the world, we're not prepared for it. Churches are not prepared for it, and we hope that Rolesville will be prepared for it. I can tell you story after story, especially with the situation at the Grande over here. I call it the Grande because some people call it the Grand, but Grande just sounded a little bit more special. So many people had to leave because the management upped their rent by a tremendous amount, and they just were not able to afford it. So many have left. Many have left this area. They didn't know where to go. I mean, one person told me they were going to live in their car for a while. So it's a very serious situation. And let me mention this to you. Some of you are seniors here. I'm happy to see some of you. If you're not a senior today, Lord willing, you will be someday. And you're going to be in the same situation that seniors are today, except that the population is growing so quickly. So I do hope that as you plan and as you make decisions, that you will consider the seniors. There is such a thing as ageism, and we see that especially in churches, where seniors are kind of like pushed to the side. They've been in big positions all their life, and now sometimes it's decided that it's better if they step aside and let a younger person do it. But they could be a mentor, and this is what we're looking for in every aspect of the community. So I thank you for letting me speak today, and I hope I'll come back again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you, Melanie. And Holly? Where's Holly at? Come on up, Holly. State your name and address for the record, if you would.
Hi, good evening. I'm Holly Shepard. I'm a resident of Wall Creek. I feel like I'm going to be summarizing pretty much what everyone has already said, but clearly it's a big deal, so I hope you'll bear with me for just a moment. Before the Roseville Main Street project started, we residents were invited to participate in an online survey, pick our sidewalks, our trees. We became really super invested. in being here in Rolesville and in our town. And we were told our town leaders had a vision of Rolesville being a walkable, bikeable destination town with an atmospheric charm where families would want to spend time. Prioritizing family-centered businesses and resources offers a much more profound positive impact on Rolesville's social fabric and long-term sustainability compared to increasing the number of tire and car service companies. Developing family-centered businesses and resources creates enhanced community well-being and quality of life, including strong social connections, improved family dynamics, and improved mental and physical health, which we heard a little bit about earlier tonight. And spaces for families to interact and connect that build a sense of belonging, which strengthens the fabric of our community. It creates positive economic impact and sustainable growth by attracting and retaining families, increasing economic activity, and long-term financial stability. It's been shown that towns that prioritize family-friendly amenities are more attractive to young families, leading to population growth, a stronger workforce, and increased consumer spending. Families also actively participate in local events, volunteer, and support our local businesses. While tire and car service companies do contribute to the community and are important for transportation, their impact on a town's overall development and quality of life for our residents is much more limited compared to comprehensive benefits provided by family-centered businesses. We've already heard about the Rolesville's Village Core, which is what it's referred to on the Main Street project. And from Young Street to the 401 Burlington Mills intersection, it's approximately 1 mile. And on that 1 mile, there are 4. We have 4 car service centers, Meineke, Expert Auto, Pete Smith's, and Wakefield Automotive, plus 2 automotive stores. So do we really need another car service company in our village core? One that allows 12 bays with 3 bays facing the street. That's not the vision our town council previously supported, and it should not be the vision our council votes for today. It's not in keeping with the charming small town, walkable, bikeable destination town our leaders promised we would get. What we want are more family-centered businesses in Rolesville. Our community is asking our leaders to listen to our concerns and our vision for our town. Any additional car servicing centers are not wanted in the village core. They're not conducive to the town's vision. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I appreciate your time.
Thanks. Okay, Charles, these are signed up, so come up, state your name for the record, Charles, and where you live.
I'm Charles Johnson. I live at 120 Wall Creek. I'm a retired pastor, so I usually have more than 3 minutes. But all I wanted to say was my concern when the Chapel Hill Tire Company rescinded their request. The underlying thing is coming back at some point in time. Should they get approval for another site prior to that site, in other words, they get a kind of a carte blanche that they can move to any site now, it's been approved that they can put it here or there. Could they come back with that approval and ask for that location again? That's what I'm concerned with. I had the impression when I was at the other meeting when he said, they would, even if it didn't get approved for additional bays, they want that property. I think now that's in my understanding. But is it possible that they can, if the city allows them to have another location, which I don't have a problem with it, just not this particular location, would they come back and get an approval to pick a site and then say, I want that one again? Because we already got approval for it.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll address that once we get to the last one here. So is it Oreen? Is that right? Did I pronounce that right? Come on up. I can't read what it looks like. It's O-R-E-N-E. What's your name? Just say your name and address, please.
Gene Longo. I live at 100 Wall Creek Drive for a year.
What's a J?
I've been in the Raleigh area for 20 years, but we moved over there. So I think I'm neighbors with Mr. Paul. How you doing? Good. All right. Anyway, I'll go off script and I'll stop when the bell goes off because a lot of what everybody's already said, is what I had written down as well. But I think the underlying issue is the text amendment. And basically, we would be here to say, don't approve it, right? Don't make that text amendment change, because that is going to open the door for Chapel Hill Tire to come back, and others as well, right? There's a corridor, there's a vision. I've been educated up about the vision, 2017 proclamations, whatever it was referred to as, in comprehensive plan, what it included: walkability, friendly variety of services, shopping experience, restaurants, right? And we've already got the economics on the businesses already here. So just when that, amendment comes up, we hope that you hear, the residents of Rolesville. I've spoken to people outside of Wall Creek, a number of different people across Wake Forest and here. We don't want to be like Wake Forest. We don't want to be like Knightdale or Raleigh, which was also part of the application. I do want to thank, you can pass it on to them, Mr. Biker, is that how you say his name? The attorney that was here at Chapel Hill Tire, the president, for hearing us and not, not continuing on that location. Because there were a number of people that said, we're okay with the business, wrong location. Anything between maybe here in Publix and the Cobblestone Village, we want it to be the theme and the vision that everybody, why we moved here and everybody else has supported for a few years now. That's it.
Thank you.
For now.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Well, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Public comment. Appreciate that. We don't usually, did you want to speak? Come on up. State your name and address for the record, please.
I'm a stranger to this commission.
Yeah.
My name is Linda Hood. I live at 105 Wall Creek Drive. I just want to take a little bit of a different approach. I understand and I agree with what everybody said about the tire place. But what I wanted to speak to is, I've been in Wall Creek for 27 years, and I would ask the commissioners think about the overall requests that we're getting for growth and the overall requests that we're getting for different businesses in different places. And Wall Creek has already been, I will use the word violated, because our subdivision is no longer a subdivision. It's a main street going into the shopping center. Our quality of life is already impacted, and we have been told that we wanted to look at and maintain the quality of life in this little town. I agree with that. We do want to maintain the quality of life. But I think one thing that would help us from the safety aspect, we used to pull in back in our driveway. We can't do that anymore because that's what's going to happen with the traffic. So I would say Dan Austin lives in the same subdivision we do, so other people that live there. Think about slowing your roll a little bit on approving all of these requests for growth, and are we growing too fast? Do we want to be Raleigh? Do we want to be Chapel Hill or Cary? That's not the vision that this town had originally. Small town, bright future. That was on the sign out front. And I'd like to see us continue to be maybe a big-hearted town with the growth that we have, but I would ask that you kind of slow down on approving and throwing all this stuff at us, because we'd like some time to think, and I think you guys need some time to plan and think about what you're doing before you continue to receive requests and continue to promote progress, because sometimes progress comes at a really high cost for the residents of this town. So I don't care whether it's a tire place or whatever it is, we don't need it, because when we were looking at developing the property in front of Wall Creek once before, and I came and spoke to you, I asked that we think about the rezoning and some of the requirements that were being taken, looking at and things like that. So I just humbly request that you take a look at and maybe take a little bit of time to just kind of settle, if you would, I guess is the right word to use, settle with all the growth. Let's see what's going to happen with all the traffic. Let's see what's going to happen with all the growth. Are we going to get a lot of businesses in here that's not going to last because they can't support each other? And then we got a lot of empty buildings on Main Street. That's my request, is that you think about what you're bringing up that's going to develop, not just in front of Wall Creek, but in this entire area, this town. There are other subdivisions that I'm sure that are feeling the pains of growth. So my request is that you consider the residents that are here, and we want to attract other residents, but shouldn't we who live here be considered rather than worrying about inviting new people into new businesses? That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, Ms. Linda.
Thank you, Ms. Hood. Appreciate that. Yes, sure. State your name and address for the record, please.
Oh, yes. All right. I think the horse is dead with that one. I'm Nathaniel Cooper. I live at 116 Wall Creek. But my wife and I and the children were out on a walk the other day, and something that continues to surprise me with all the construction going on is the immense amount of trash. If you go through that, where they're building all the things at townhouses at the end of Wall Creek, there are hundreds of, maybe thousands of water bottles, thousands of pieces of trash throughout that property just left to blow around. I understand it's their property right now. They get to do with what they want, but it is blowing across Main Street. It is blowing across everywhere. The other thing that really is starting to bother me with walking around is we continue to come to dead ends. We have all this expansion, and over here at Burlington Mills, where we have the new road coming, and we built a road, we built a sidewalk, and then shut it. Just done. Could have gone another 100 yards and connected to the middle school. Our children can't bike to school now because we didn't go that extra 100 yards to connect that. I think really making sure that when businesses and when we are building out things, that we are thinking beyond that next step, because it's 100 yards. I understand it costs money, but it doesn't make sense not to connect that school to the footprint, to the main corridor. We're seeing that all over the place. And when it comes to the trash, all these ADA pads that are on the new ramps to go up into the sidewalks, they install these pads, they leave the plastic over top of it just to wither away and rot. And nobody ever comes back and rips that plastic off and throws it in the trash. So we just see it blowing around as well. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks, everybody, for, like I said, coming out for comments. And I will make one or two comments on, kind of related. On Dr. Charles's ask about the next phase of any project. Yeah, it has to come back through us, has to go through the whole process, has to go through the plan, has to do the whole process. They have to start over again. They just can't just pick it up. So if they go at a new site, then it starts from the beginning. And as for the corridor, I think we do recognize that there's a disconnect between the market-based people and the development people, and kind of the vision of the town when it comes to this walkable, bikeable street. So we have recognized it. And also, I think Sheila's here from Main Street Group that kind of helps oversees that as a nonprofit group. And I think they're making a recommendation that we put overlay over that whole Main Street to kind of make it more in line with the vision of the walkable and bikeable thing. So eliminate some businesses, like more car businesses, car-type businesses, maybe, and limit maybe some other things too. But that's to be worked out. It has to be legally done. So Dave, the attorney, has been, contacted, working with that. But overlay for that Main Street corridor has been talked about. So that's probably our next phase, to kind of limit all the car stuff that could happen there. So with that, we will move on to some exciting things. One good thing about you guys being here tonight is you will see the next item on the agenda has to do with the well, we got to do liaison reports first. So let's do liaison reports first. Michael Paul, you got anything you want to report on?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everybody. First, I want to mention that the Senior Network is hosting a second annual charity golf tournament at Heritage Golf Club on Thursday, September 11th. The bus is in operation that was purchased by the tournament last year, and this golf tournament will raise funds for the maintenance and other costs to keep the bus on the road for our seniors. And it's free rides for our seniors. Second, I received an update, and we've heard about this a little bit tonight, from some residents at the Grande. Now 18 residents have been displaced from the Grande because of increased rents. Last year they went up to, I think, $1,442. A lot of people moved out, new people came in, and now they're increasing them up to $1,600 is what I hear per month. So this just further highlights the need for affordable senior housing here in Rolesville. Our friends, our neighbors, our coworkers who have lived in Rolesville have to move to another county, if not another state, because we don't have a place for them to live. And this is a problem for towns and cities across the country. It's not just us, but hopefully we can do something about it. Which leads me to my third topic, which is selection of a developer for the land behind Town Hall. My hope is that we will select the developer who has presented the senior affordable housing development for this land. Finally, my senior advisory committee has starting work on a senior center for Rolesville. On May 29th, we met with Blake Belch, Southeastern Regional Director for the Office of Senator Ted Budd. Blake has since provided some guidance on grants that we can apply for funds going towards the senior center. On June 19th, we met with Jenny Griggs, Director of the Northern Wake Senior Center Resources and Resources for Seniors, and she provided us with a wealth of information that will be helpful in our mission of attaining a senior center. And lastly, we have reached out to Congresswoman Deborah Ross for assistance, and we're waiting for her response. And that's my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that. Commissioner Dan Austin, anything from veterans?
Yes, sir. Today is a milestone moment for the town of Rolesville, marking the official launch of the Rolesville High School Navy National Defense Cadet Corps. It will look and sound just like a JRTC, but once they, and I'm saying that positively, that once they show proficiency for at least 2 years, then the Navy can get involved and be able to provide not just another instructor, but also have their salary as well. But for at least December, we will see our young adults in front of our parade. So that's a big win for Rolesville. Coffee with a Veteran. The Veterans Fellowship Breakfast meets on the last Wednesday of the month at IHOP in Knightdale. The next breakfast is the 4th Wednesday of this month. The Joel Fund is seeking volunteers this summer to help permanent change the station, PCS to Rolesville. As they prepare to open the Joel Center this fall, your help will ensure a smooth transition so their programs go uninterrupted. Volunteers can register for one or more dates by visiting their website. And all this information I'm reading will be found, or probably already now, on our town website. Also, join the Joel Fund on July 8th for their Veterans Housing Symposium. This is to talk about affordable housing for our veterans as well as military active duty personnel. Hear from industry professionals on housing topics impacting the veteran and the military family communities. 2 panel discussions will cover a range of topics beneficial to both military-connected individuals and professionals. Grab a cup of coffee with the Joel Fund on Wednesday, July 23rd at 8:30 at their Wake Forest location, 822 South White Street, Suite 106. And then boxing with Coach CJ Jones. He provides this free of charge for all veterans and their dependents and their spouses at Grit City Boxing and Fitness, located at 8813 Gulf Court, Unit Foxtrot in Raleigh. And this is something that he funds with grants and out of his own pocket, but he gives his time and gives back to his community. So one day he would like to come to Rolesville to provide those lessons as well. So that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that. April, anything from Planning Board?
Just a little bit. In our Planning Board meeting on June 23rd, an LDO text amendment regarding the transparency requirements for multifamily buildings was considered, and also a voluntary annexation and residential rezoning request for property between Fowler and Mitchell Mill Roads brought by the Hopper communities. Both of those will likely come before us in August. In addition to those 2 agenda items, the Technical Review Committee has 4 sets of construction drawings before them that are very near to attaining approvals. This means that groundbreaking is not too far away for 4 new residential subdivisions. At Walbrook, in the 3 buildings near Publix, there are several store tenants occupancy permits that are coming up soon, meaning that they'll start opening their businesses. Fifth Third Bank held a pre-construction meeting recently and will start construction soon on a standalone building out in front of Publix. And the town is at a point where many of our projects that have been in the works for months, if not years, are coming to the construction phase, so there should be lots of groundbreakings and grand openings in the near future. That's it.
Sounds good. Thank you. Commissioner Paul, Paul Field, anything from Parks and Recreation?
No, our meeting was actually canceled this month, but later in our agenda, we will be trying to get all of our appointees in for the tree board for approval, and there's a change for the bylaws as well. That's upcoming. That's all I have.
Thank you. And Commissioner Long, anything from?
Just a couple of quick PD updates. Just popsicles with the police throughout the summer. You may see officers out at one of the town's wonderful parks or other areas in the community with a cooler full of popsicles or ice cream to share. Please stop to grab a popsicle to cool down and have a chat with your officer. No dates are scheduled at the moment, but these pop-up events will be happening soon. Please start planning for National Night Out, which will be October 1st. And we'll have another announcement coming up very shortly for the fire department.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Okay, we got one more administrative item to do real quick, and then we'll get to the this stuff we're here for. Consideration of the consent agenda is a couple of minutes in there to be approved. Resolution authorizing construction manager at risk, and a memorandum for our Rolesville Downtown Development Association, one I mentioned earlier, that kind of looks at Main Street. So as always, any item the commissioner wants to pull and discuss and talk and vote on separately, you're made to do that. But I will entertain a motion for consideration for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second. Any other discussion?
No, sir.
Not hearing any. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sounds like the ayes have it. Ayes do have it. Motion approved. So thank you very much. And now we will move into the communication from town staff. And one of the first things that we'll be communicating is the unification of the fire department in the town. Something been working on for quite a few years now. And I think, Eric, you're going to kind of lead that recognition. So I'll turn it over to you right now.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and the board and all the community members and the firemen that are here present. Today marks a very, very important day that we've been working towards, and that is the unification with the Rolesville Rural Fire Department. And so we have a press release that'll be released on tomorrow. I'll read an excerpt from that, and then I'll share a few comments. And then we'll open the floor for any of the members of the leadership of the new Rolesville Fire Department, and also the members of the fire board from Rolesville Fire Department to come up and share any comments that they would like. And then we'll take a picture, take a little recess, and then we'll get back to business. We want to just really take a moment to really honor the occasion. And so after more than 65 years of dedicated service as an independent nonprofit, the Rolesville Rural Fire Department officially became part of the town's governing structure as of today. This unification follows years of planning and collaboration. The unification effort was a result of over 3 years of discussion, analysis, and consensus building between the town, Rolesville Rural Fire Department, and third-party advisor, North Carolina Fire Chief Consulting. Together, they established a unification committee to explore the benefits and challenges of the unification, ultimately producing a jointly crafted resolution and unification agreement. Tonight's meeting not only marks the formal recognition of the unification, but also signals future growth. On June 4, 2024, the Board of County Commissioners approved plans for a new main fire station to be located at East Young Street as part of the new Town Center campus. This project will also include a new police department and a Rolesville Town Hall, and further, which further centralizes our essential public services. As the town and the fire department move forward with the next phase of the process, And I would say the next phase is the most important and fun phase. And so we've had the more formal black and white ink to paper unification. But as you know, there's like mixed families get married, and one family gets married, or what have you. This just us continue to grow as an organization, and so we'll look forward to learning from them as we learn as they learn from us, and as we kind of just continue to sync and walk in unity when it comes to some of the operational things. And so as we move to the next step in the process, we just want to encourage and let our community know that they should expect continuity of service, ongoing investment in infrastructure, and a continued commitment to safety and excellence when it comes to providing public safety services to our Rolesville community and extended area. It's been a joy to get to know the firemen. Last month, May 30th, they had an awards banquet at the fire station, and they gave me the honor of saying a few words. And I remember telling them that that was my third one, and the first time I went 3 years ago, I felt like a stranger. The second time I went, I felt like a friend, and then the third time I showed up, now I'm family, and you can't get rid of us. And so I marked the occasion by getting challenge coins made, and I think that each one of you may have received one. I just gave one to our deputy attorney for her helping us. But the challenge coin, a challenge coin is customary within law enforcement and also in the military. And this challenge coin has the Rolesville Rural Fire Department's seal on one side, and then it has the Town of Rolesville seal or logo on the other side. And around the edge, it denotes 2 legacies, 1 destiny. And so this is something that each one of the members of the fire department received, each one of the families of retired firemen received, each member of the fire board received, each member of the town board received, everyone who contributed to this process. And I think finance is up next because they helped us with this very, very big payroll and getting people onboarded. But it just marks the occasion and the importance of how unity is really the core and how community is really the core, providing high-level services and really caring for our residents. And so it's a really big deal. And several communities have taken this step. I think Garner and 2 other communities, they celebrate the same thing today, and we all are sending emails back and forth and like, wow, we really did it. Because we cannot do this without you all, like seriously. And so we need you. We love you. We thank you so much for joining the family, and we look forward to continue working together and just providing services to our residents within the greater community. And so if there's, the mayor, did you want to say anything? We definitely want to allow some of the leaders to come up.
No, I would say come up. I see Spencer's coming up, so exciting day. So thanks, Spencer, for all your hard work down. I know you've been busy.
Yes. I'd like to thank my fellow board members, Chief Dolly Lawrence, Division Chief Jacob Butler, Ms. Ednam. They've all worked hard to get to this point. I'd like to thank the mayor, the town board, town manager for all their help, as well as finance director and their staff, HR department, Greg Grayson, NC Fire Chiefs Consulting, along with Wake County's Fire Services. It's been a long, hard road, but I think we're finally here. Thanks.
Thank you, Spencer. I appreciate How about anybody else from the fire department? Chief, anything want to speak? No? Come on up. Anybody want to speak? Feel free, because what we're going to do is after everybody speaks, Eric, we're going to take a little recess. Yeah. And we got some things out front for you guys, and so we'll take a little recess. So anybody want to speak, come on up and speak. Go ahead, Donnie.
I'd say thanks to the fire department board. I said this board's been here a long time. Fire department's been here 67 years as of June 3rd. And like I say, it's been roughly 3 years right now, but we've been in talks of this for about 8 years. And
been a long road getting here, and just appreciate everybody working together in collaboration to get to this point. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Well, I would just like to say I'm excited. I really, you know, took a lot of hard work. I think y'all mentioned that from both sides of the fence to pull it together. A lot of moving parts. When you think of a fire department with that number of people and the area they serve and the number of years they've been serving, and we're not unifying because they're doing a bad job. They're doing a great job. But, you know, the future, as Derek said, with Garner and everybody else, as you're growing, we need new fire stations, and we need more. I think most of you at the fire department will agree. We need more employees. We need more of things, and it's hard to do that as a volunteer private fire department that you know, receives funds from just the county and the town. So. So, you know, as we do that, we're not doing it just because of the lack of what you're doing today. It's more like what we got to do in the future to meet the needs of like I said, stations and stuff. And also, you know, you got a really good rating. I think you're 2 or something in the town. Is that right? 2? We want to be a 1, you know, and we want to work with you guys because I know y'all want to be a 1. And we want to work with you guys and make sure the town furnishes you what you need to be 1. So, because, you know, it's a few of those in Wake County, and it's a badge of honor in Wake County to be a 1. And that's what we want to do. And a 1 means, for people that may not have heard that before, it's the top of the line in assessment of a fire department. And right now we're 2, and it has to do with funding and stuff. So. We're really excited about it. It's been hard work, and I want to see if anybody on the board want to have any comments.
I want to say that it has been a long road.
Yes.
And I think that Spence's reaction and his heart, he just showed, and that speaks to how dedicated this fire department is and how dedicated this board is. So I'm thankful for each and every one of you. Every time I hear those sirens go off, I say a prayer for each and every one of you, because you're risking your lives for us. And there is no way that we can say thank you enough. So I honor you for all that you have done. 65 years is a long time for sticking it out in the same positions. Mr. Pierce, you and all of you have been there, you know, for so long, and you haven't left and you haven't given up. Just dedication is beyond words that this fire department has given for Rolesville. Their lives they've given for us. Thank you very much.
Anybody else want to go make a comment?
Yes, sir. It's kind of hard to follow that. This is my family and I 11th year being in Rolesville. It was 5,700 people when we got here. And we moved here because it's nice and quiet, retired out of Fort Bragg, and everybody here has that small town charm. But one thing that was very impressive, coming from my background, is a response time. And my 2-year-old, because I told her no, grabbed my phone and dialed 911. And the fire department was at my home in less than 3 minutes. Knocking on the door, and I had no idea what was going on. It was because the 3-year-old, Daddy told her no. But they came through the home, checked every exit, entry, just to make sure that we were safe. And I appreciate that. But that just shows that the love that they have and the gratitude they have for our town, which make what it is today. So thank you all. Thank you all for coming. Walbrook, thank you. I'm sorry, Wall Creek, I'm sorry. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and we will recess. But thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything. But I think it would be remiss if I didn't. Some 15 years ago, my father had a heart attack in the pulpit in New Bethel, and it was the fire department that saved his life. And that impact to what you mean to this community can never, ever be short-sighted. So thank you for all your hard work for the years. Thank you for getting to this place. And we know the value that you bring to this country and from firemen in general, but I know the value you bring to homes and lives here in Rolesville. So thank you again for all the work that you have done.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we'll close and meet out there and get some, is there some cupcakes and stuff out there? Before we close, I just want to recognize the fire department. I know Spence mentioned most of them by name, but I just want to kind of officially recognize them, you know, from town perspective. So it's really three groups, and I think I get this right, Donnie. Three groups that consist of the major piece of the fire department. One is the staff. It's a paid staff that works there, 11 or 12 employees, maybe up to 14 at some point in time, that makes it work. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays and everything else, and they do a tremendous job of being there to respond when you is needed, whether it's a heart attack or a call. But they do a great job, and I don't know if there's any. I know some paid employees here, some career employees, fire department. If you're here, kind of stand up. I want to recognize you guys. So if you're career. Also, there's a group of volunteers that really don't, it's not their career. They don't get paid that much. They put in a lot more time than what they get paid for as a volunteer, and they do a tremendous job. And it's quite a few of them. It's like 35 or 40 of them. So if you're a volunteer, let's recognize you too. So if you're a volunteer, stand up, please. None of them here? Okay. I thought, yeah, there you go. And then lastly, with the chief and the part of some of the staff, but there's a board that makes this thing run for the last 65 years, I think, that has and some of them been on there for a long time, like Frank Pierce and all. I just want to recognize the board for all their work, what they have done in the last 65 years to bring this fire department to where it's done and protect our citizens and to do what's needed to respond to calls not even in town, but all the way up to Franklin County line, just about. So I just want to recognize. So I think a lot of this board is here, but also the staff has important people that does administrative work, like Edna. I think her sister did a long time, but she's been there, took her sister's place when she retired. But it takes a tremendous amount of people to make this work. So Edna, will you and the kind of the board of directors stand up, please? We'll recognize you guys, and all the fire departments stand up, because I want to recognize everybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. Eric, anything else you want to say, or we'll kind of take a short recess and.
No, just thank you. I think what our residents need to know is that you all are a community that's served by a community and by a family and by a tribe of people, public servants, public safety, people that are committed to come in every single day and doing what has to be done to make sure we provide a safe, livable community for you. And so even in the moments where things, you might hit a pothole, we still got people out here that fill out full potholes every single day in 98-degree weather. And so we just thank you all for being supportive. Thank you all for hearing us. Thank you all for coming out tonight and being vocal. We personally look forward to people coming in to these town hall meetings because your voice is very important. And so when we pack the house, we say, please come back on a day to just listen as well, because we're constantly talking about different things that are important to you at every single one of these meetings. And so we're never discouraged when you show up. We're never afraid when you show up. We actually look forward to it, and we're just thankful for you all, the residents, come out. But in general, just thank you to the firemen. Thank you to the board. You know, you all built the foundation that we'll stand on for generations to come. And so we can't thank you enough, and we really appreciate you. We really appreciate you. And it's been a joy getting to know y'all, and we end this thing forever. And so I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Mr. Pierce. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so I know a lot of you from Wall Creek came here for a different reason, but really, you came at an exciting night, so you always should remember this night, even though you didn't come for the reason you think. And we're going to take a short break, and you guys, if you would, show your appreciation for the fire department. We got you guys invited for the cupcakes or whatever's out there, so y'all stay and be part of the recognition that we're doing here. So thank you very much. And I'm gonna recess to 8 o'clock by that clock, so it'll be about 20 minutes, and then we'll get back to business. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Still back in session, Town Board meeting, July 1, 2025. And the next item is Human Resources update. So Lily, you're going to do that, I think. So take.
Devin Boland transitioned into the vacancy that opened up from Mindy being promoted to detective, and then Gilberto, who also goes by Gil, was promoted to lead maintenance worker. All right, and then that leaves us with the active postings that we have left. So we have part-time facility supervisor and part-time recreation assistant, both with Parks and Recreation Department. And then we have one full-time police officer position left at the police department, and we are actively recruiting and interviewing folks for that position. In addition to planning ahead and trying to fill for a vacancy that we'll have in the future for an upcoming retirement. All right, and then as most of you know, today is our first official day with Gallagher. Our contract started with them. We pretty much have the same benefits, same great benefits available to all employees. The only changes that we had were with some of the insurance providers. So with medical, where we once had Aetna, we now have Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. With vision, where we once had VSP, we now have MetLife. And then in addition to the vision being with MetLife, where we once had Delta Dental, we now have MetLife for Delta. But still all the same great benefits. And then that's about it for the update for HR.
I do not, but you did a great job today.
Outstanding.
Thank you guys for the opportunity. It was a great first one.
Oh, thank you.
Of many more to come, young lady.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Ms. Lilly. An additional, home run. And one thing to add that is HR Jason is that the executive search firm Polyhire has been retained to help with the executive search. And so the HR director position has been posted. And so you all probably will start getting emails from people who see the posting and then send their resume into the board, the commissioners, to the mayor. And so we've already started working with that. And then they were preparing for the other positions that we have coming up as far as members on our executive team. They have posted the job and it will be posted. The next step in that will be the internal kind of engagement of stakeholders. And so we'll be working with staff members, Ms. Lilly included, to say what are we looking for in the future HR director, what are we looking for in the future this, in the future that. And with the other positions, there may be some engagement with you all as well from Polyhire. And so I'll give you some pre-conversation, shoot you an email to let you know when they reach out to get your perspective on those different leadership roles. But in general, the process has been going well, very well with that. Another thing that we're working on HR-wise is that we had a lot of positions that were in the new fiscal year. And so this is day one of FY 25-26. And so we're continuing to work on clarifying those job descriptions and preparing for those to be posted. Myself and Stephen did some pre-work on recruiting. We went over to Partnership Raleigh, which is a fellowship internship leadership development program with the city of Raleigh. Last year they had 28 people in their cohort. This year they had 33. Partnership Raleigh is a program that that has from juniors and sophomores in college up to grad students who just have fellowships between City of Raleigh Water, Raleigh Sewer, and other local government agencies. And so we partook in their professional development day. We did a workshop on navigating the workforce. We sat on a leadership panel and had the opportunity to pitch some of our upcoming openings to them. 2 of them, we believe we have some hot leads with that. And so the good thing about the people who matriculate through this Partnership Raleigh is they have like a support system and people that are going to help them. And so one of them is interested in the stormwater technician role. He's been in the fellowship for the last 2 years with the City of Raleigh, and so he knows all about the City of Raleigh and their stormwater system. It's had all the and the City of Raleigh helped me get all of the certifications fresh out of college with an engineering degree, and then the other is the executive administrative position that we're looking for in the administration department. There's several people that reached out and showed interest in that, and so in general, things are great with HR. Thank you so much, Mr. Lilly. I just wanted to thank you publicly for her stepping in. She's been helping us out tremendously. We do miss Miss Lisa. You know, anytime you lose a director of her caliber, that creates a vacuum. And so Mr. Lilly has definitely stepped in and helped us run with those things. And so, but that was what I want to add in, just give you an update on those 2 things, which related to HR as well.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Next item, I see Amy is here. So our next item is the financial department. So you got an update, Amy? All right.
Okay. Another one. Okay.
Welcome tonight.
Welcome. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Keisha Robinson. I'm the accounting specialist in the finance department. Some of you may know me as processing the payroll, but I also do the revenue and accounts receivable. I'm giving the finance department update this evening. A few months ago, the finance director gave you analysis on how many residents, local residents, make Wake County tax payments. Cost effectively, it was not worth to keep processing the Wake County tax payments. So we decided, along with Apex, Holly Springs, and Nightdale, to close our satellite site, which yesterday was the last day. In addition to that, the board, y'all asked us to come up with assistance with helping the residents transition into making payments online. So with that, I supplied you with a flyer that I came up with. And with the assistance, I'm gonna have a laptop beginning the 2nd Friday of each month to assist with residents who want assistance with making tax payments using debit or credit card. We no longer take cash or check payments here. So that's our update. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome job, Keith.
And
I have a question.
I would say,
Go ahead.
I would say that's just doing this transition, a new thing, so don't expect to do this forever. What did we talk, once you go through the budget thing, we won't do it no more?
So yes, so it's the 2nd Friday of each month until the end of the year.
To the end of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Perfect.
Have you all had any feedback thus far from any of our residents about us not being a satellite office any longer?
No, we gave out a flyer saying that we would no longer take cash or check payments, that they could do it online.
Mm-hmm.
And we also gave them the flyer to let them know that we're going to have assistance for them, but
It's been well received.
Yes,
Very
and
good.
there's other locations that's included on the flyer that Wake County that would take cash payments. It's just, you know, it's not here. There's a place close in Raleigh, and then they can go downtown to the administration office to pay cash.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Okay, next item, Main Street project update. I understand Maddox is not going to have a presentation on that. Did you want to just take?
Yes, he's available for questions if you have any technical questions. The main thing I wanted to just kind of go over is that last week we had a meeting with the business owners. And during that, the things that Mr. Edmonds had brought up during that meeting, those are things that we have been aware of since last Thursday. And so with the ongoing work with the project, you know, we've had some difficulty getting some things accomplished by our Fred Smith Company. And so one thing that we've done in the last week is just kind of pivoting to have Public Works complete some of those things. And then we're tracking those to be able to kind of have those conversations with them on the back end at the completion of the project with what those expenses are incurred with that. And so they saw changes in signs. We saw changes in silt fence. They saw the correction of the detour signs and things of that nature that make it harder as far as the operation to have their subcontractor come out because the subcontractors don't mobilize quick enough to it. And so these are just approaches we're making within the project to be able to streamline and more quickly respond to some of the requests that are coming from the business owners in front of the community since we're kind of in the latent stages of it. Things that you can expect with the project, if you go up and walk through the intersection, you see that there is asphalt going down and asphalt base going down. And so that's just indicative of us being further along in the work at the intersection. And so the opening date of the Main and Young intersection is still on track to hit that September deadline. And so we're looking forward to that. Mr. Edmonds mentioned that the project will end in about 9 months. That kind of includes like all the things that are included to the project. And so as we look ahead to like the last pay application that will go out, and so it'd be more, you know, filling in dirt, backfilling curb. And so even the truncated domes that are on the ADA ramps, it's general practice in construction to leave the plastic on until the project's done, and then you remove the plastic so it looks really nice. Because it gets beat up when the sand washes in before you put in the grass. And when you walk over it, it scuffs them up. And so that's just something that is a general practice. And so just to talk through that thing, that particular thing that the resident brought up, the general practice is to leave the plastic on the truncated domes until the project's done. And so so that's something we will remove, right? And so we don't expect all the residents to understand all the things around construction practice, but we are committed to listening and hearing them and then trying to communicate about those things in real time. In general, the project has been going well. The rain has been working in our favor, or the lack of rain. And so we're excited about that. They will not be working on 4th of July, and I don't believe they'll be working on the 3rd of July because of the blackout for the holiday. And that's something that happens when it comes to DOT projects, and this is a locally administered public project that is a DOT project as well. And so those are things that are going on with the project. We'll send out a more specific kind of like technical updates. CenturyLink being working on finishing up the relocation of final telecommunications this week. So the poles that'll be scheduled with Duke Energy, and some of those more finite things will communicate out to that. But in general, everything's going well. I have a meeting next Tuesday with Fred Smith Company and their leadership to follow up on some things that have been coming up around communication and expectations. And so I'll let you all know about that as well. That'll be the first meeting we've been able to get with them since the last time we were able to meet with them.
When is that?
Next Tuesday, after 2 p.m. is the time slot. They said they were free next Tuesday. I offered up next Tuesday after 1:30, 2 p.m. And so I'm waiting to hear back on that.
Are they coming here?
Yes.
So we don't have a schedule for that utility pole in the middle of the asphalt to be removed
I wanted to
yet?
ask about that.
Say that again?
We don't have a date for when that utility pole.
Yeah, so Duke Energy said they were mobilized within a week to get it done, but we've been waiting for CenturyLink to move that last little piece, and so they're literally waiting for confirmation on that. Is that correct? Yeah, cables be. Right, and so Don with Duke, the easy part is removing them, and so they said that they can mobilize as soon as that's off. But it's really that one.
CenturyLink.
Yes, we're waiting on them, and they're out there working on that right now. They'll be done on July 3rd.
Okay. So question, there's a segment of sidewalk, and I think it's tied with the internet company on the south end of 513 South Main.
Oh, right across the street?
My office.
Yes. Yep.
What is that?
There's a pedestal that was there, a telecom fiber pedestal that needed to be moved. That is relocated. And so they said they would either put concrete in that section or fill it before 4th of July because people are going to be walking on that sidewalk.
Concerned about.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Very good.
So I have one concern that kind of ties with this. Granite Falls Boulevard. Driving through there tonight was a nightmare because of all the parking along there, and that's our main corridor right now. So I'd like to request if we could go and restripe that for our fire hydrants and our parking. And we also need to enforce because there's a lot of cars parked in the yellow sections across the curbs and everything else. So,
Okay.
I mean, I understand we're having events there and everything else, but that's a main thoroughfare, and if that gets blocked, there's no other way through.
It was a nightmare.
Yes.
Yeah. So the restriping is included inside of the project that we bid out.
Okay.
We're bidding out, yeah.
All right, and also we have potholes again.
Yeah, we did.
So.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you, Eric. Appreciate you doing that.
Good update.
Next item, Habitat for Humanity presentation. We got a couple people from Habitat here, and then Michael and Stephen is on the agenda. So, Michael, you kicking it off?
Yeah, sure, I'll tee it up. Good evening, everyone.
Even.
See if this works here. Right. I'm here to kind of introduce our next agenda item and also just provide some background information around our recent efforts around affordable housing in Rolesville. So last year, as you know, we embarked on sort of two parallel initiatives, right? The development of an affordable housing plan, and then also exploring the use of our town-owned property here behind Town Hall for an affordable housing project. Just a little bit on the plan real quick. The housing plan is near completion during the month of May. The draft plan was put out on our website for public comment to receive input. We're going through those responses now. Next steps would involve bringing the plan to the planning board. Planning board would review that, and then also later this summer, the plan is to have it go before the town board for review and approval. A couple things about that plan, just real quick, the key goals right now, and I'm summarizing very high level, just planning for the future and considering setting up a fund for affordable housing, a long-term vision for housing in Rolesville. We've never really kind of thought about this in a holistic way yet, so we want to do that. Diversification of the different types of housing is in there, and then also development of that ecosystem, meaning internal capacity, staff capacity, educating the community, and working with partner organizations and things like that to really get a grasp of affordable housing in Rolesville. So simultaneously, we sought to pursue an affordable housing project on the 6 acres of town-owned land behind Town Hall here. As you know, back in the fall, I think it was, we posted an RFP to solicit affordable housing project ideas. We used the committee that was working with the affordable housing plan We use that same committee and group of individuals and community members to evaluate the proposals we received. Ultimately, that committee recommended Habitat for Humanity of Wake County to engage with, to have further conversations with, if the board so chose. And they were selected based on their local knowledge and experience, delivering high-quality, affordable housing. And as such, we've invited Habitat here tonight to present and discuss the types of projects they work on, just kind of tell us a little bit about themselves and how their affordable housing model works, and to answer any questions anybody might have here tonight. I think one discussion, I've kind of been hearing of late is that we should probably also have at some point as well is that who question. Who do we want to serve? And not only with this particular project, with the 6 acres behind Town Hall, but just, kind of in general in the future. Who are we talking about serving with affordable housing in Rolesville? So that can be a discussion too at some point. There's been talk of serving seniors with our project, talk of veterans, working families, people being able to, the teachers and the firefighters being able to live in Rolesville. Can you afford a home in Rolesville? That kind of thing. So, so that discussion can be had. And next steps, if we're on the trajectory that we're on right now, tonight we have Habitat presenting. I think we would like to also hear any board input on the target populations that we desire to serve in Rolesville and what that focus would be. And then we can continue to have discussions on this project and moving forward and what our expectations are for the project itself. And then, as I mentioned with the plan, this summer, later on this summer, that'll go to Planning Board and then also come to the Board of Commissioners for ultimate review and approval. So staff is here to assist and facilitate any discussions either beforehand or after. And like I said, we have Patricia Birch, who's the CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Wake County, here with us tonight, as well as Jackie Ayala, the Director of Advocacy, and they're here to kind of give a brief presentation, and then we're here to help as needed.
Okay.
All right. With that, I'll hand it over to Habitat. All righty. And we'll get her.
They didn't bring me in because I'm technology. Huh? Okay.
Gum. I have gum.
Mints.
All right. So I'm super glad you guys got cupcakes.
before this. Because everything's better with sugar. Okay, hi. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and the Board of Commissioners. I'm Patricia Birch. I'm CEO for the Habitat for Humanity of Wake County organization, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about what we do and what we proposed for the property that is behind Town Hall. Our mission is seeking to put God's love into action. Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, community, and hope. We have been around since 1985. We are actually celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. We serve Wake and Johnston counties. We will build our 1,000th home this year and our 1,001st. We have repaired over 500 homes through a home preservation program. We have 10 restores throughout Wake, Johnston, Orange, and Durham counties. We partner with those two Habitat organizations to manage their restores. We also advocate for housing issues across the continuum, and we engage over 15,000 volunteers every year. Habitat, who Habitat has been in the past is not who Habitat is today. And so we actually affect the entire housing continuum. We do that in several different ways. And the first way is through advocacy, which we use our brand, which is very well known, to work with the unhoused all the way through homeownership. We do education from transitional and supportive housing all the way through homeownership. Our home preservation program works for at-risk existing housing units all the way to homeownership. And then our homeownership program is what we're mostly known for. We have 3 strategic goals. They are to evolve solutions, which means that we are offering innovative and creative opportunities and options to be able to expand our impact on the affordable housing crisis. We are housing people through a variety of different housing types and different tools to make affordable housing work in Wake County. And we're leading communities, which is driving the conversation of affordable housing. We're doing that through 5 strategies, through advocacy, education, building, engaging, and investing. So this is a map of everywhere in Wake and Johnston counties that we've built. You will notice that one of the towns that is not on here, and the only town in Wake County that we have not built in, is Rolesville. I hope that we can change that map soon. Homeownership with Habitat works. Here's how the program requirements. You must live or work in Wake or Johnston County. You must be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. You can't have owned property in the last 3 years. You must make below 80% of the area median income. In this area, that's about $80,000. You must have a good rental and credit history. You must save $5,000 throughout your time in the program for closing costs when you go to the closing table. You have to do required meetings and trainings and complete 200 hours of sweat equity, which is where people who are in our program are volunteering on their house and other people's houses so that they become invested in the program and understand homeownership at a deeper level. And you must do education classes, which include financial education and courses that are related to housing, like insurance and why you need it, how a mortgage works, what a mortgage is, which is a class I wish I had taken before I bought my first house, and really home maintenance. So we are hoping to be able to help families understand how to do minor repairs on their own house instead of having to call a subcontractor for that. In the Habitat Wake homeowner journey, you start out as an applicant. You apply for the program. If you are approved into our program and enter the qualification for a mortgage process, you start working on sweat equity, you are a home buyer. At the point that you finish all of those requirements and you go to closing, you become a homeowner. And at that point, Habitat becomes essentially the bank. So we are a builder and a bank for most of our mortgages, as well as partnering with some other banks, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So how do we make homes affordable? We sell all of our homes at appraisal value, and we do that so we do not devalue neighborhoods. So we get a third-party appraisal from just like anybody else, and that is the sales price of the home. We make them affordable through the financing. People think that the way that we make houses affordable is because of the volunteers we have on site. They help, but it is obviously not the most efficient way to build a house, but it is vitally important to people understanding the affordable housing crisis. And so we do a first mortgage. It is low interest. It is no more than 30% of the family's gross income, and it covers at least 70% of the pre-construction appraisal cost. Beyond that, that's the first mortgage. It is repayable. We use whatever down payment assistance we can actually access. Currently, that is FHLB, which is Federal Home Loan Bank. It is $17,500 per house. We access that and any other available down payment assistance. And then the second mortgage becomes a 0% interest mortgage that is deferred, and no payment is due unless the property is sold or transferred. So that covers the affordability gap. So that makes up the other 30% of that appraisal value, and that is how we make homes affordable.
Can you repeat that second mortgage part right there for me again, please?
Yep, the second mortgage is a 0% interest mortgage with no repayment unless the whole home is sold or transferred. And so it protects the equity that is built into the house by putting a mortgage on it, but it is only repayable upon sale or transfer.
Is there a period of time after which
It is
they could?
forever.
So if they sold it 20 years later, they have to pay it back?
They would have to pay that portion of it back.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to give you some live examples here. So this house appraised at $400,000. The home buyer's salary is $55,000 or 65% of the area median income. I know it seems crazy that that house appraised for $400,000. We live in that world right now. The first mortgage on this house was $280,000. It was paid back over time, over typically 30 years at a low interest rate. We make sure that it is under 30% of the family's income. We were able to access $57,500 worth of down payment assistance, some of that from Federal Home Loan Bank and some through the city of Raleigh. This property is actually in Raleigh. Then we did a second mortgage that is not repayable at $62,500. So that is the subsidy we have built into the property.
You said it's not repayable.
It's not repayable unless the property is sold or transferred.
Okay.
Yep. And there's no interest being collected on that property, on that mortgage either.
So upon the sale of the house, then they'll give you $62,500.
Correct. And so that's how.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Are they making payments on the second while they're living there?
They do
So
not
it's
have to
just-
make
it's just
any
a
payments on the
piggyback.
second unless it is sold or transferred.
Yep.
Yep. Any other questions about this? I know this is probably the key to our program. Not everybody recognizes this as the key to our program, but this is the key to our program. All right, so on that first mortgage, just to give you a little bit more background, Habitat historically has held all of their mortgages in-house, and we kept them. We have now partnered with banks who are willing to buy these for Community Reinvestment Credit Act credits. And we are able to capitalize on that first mortgage and turn it into cash, which allows us to build more quickly. Otherwise, we have to amortize that mortgage over 30 years, and it essentially drops value by half the minute you put it on our books if we hold it in-house. All right, tools for long-term affordability. We do a first right of refusal on every single property that we do. What that means is that if a person has to sell or chooses to sell, we actually get the first right to buy that home at the price that they're being offered. And that allows us to keep the home in the program and provide another affordable housing option for another family. We do a shared appreciation agreement, and I will give you the example of why in just one second. But we do a shared appreciation agreement, and what that means is at the time of closing, if the appraisal value is $400,000, and at the time they sell in 5 years, it's $450,000, then we split the $50,000 that is remaining, that is appreciated. In the first 5 years, it's 90% to Habitat, 10 to the family. Up to 15 years, it is 50-50, and then it is all the families. The reason we do that, and I'll be honest, when I first moved here, I argued the fact that we do this. And then I found out that we had a house appreciate $100,000 in 1 year. And so that family sold the house because we did not have shared appreciation on it. And as much as we educate and as much as we talk to them about you have to be able to purchase another house and there is no more Habitat mortgage, they sold it. They were out of homeownership. And so this allows us a tool to be able to work with them about why it is not beneficial for you to sell. And that is a real life example of something that happened here. Yep.
I have one more, oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
So they sell it in 1 year, and Habitat gets 90%, and then going back to that other example, they still owe the $62,500 on top of the 90%.
Correct.
Okay.
That's just 90% of the appreciation.
Okay, yep.
It's only 90% of the appreciation after closing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I understand the appreciation, but there's more than one way to appreciate. I mean, one thing, the house values go up, but they could do a lot of improvements on the house. So you're saying if they do $100,000 worth of improvements to appreciate the house, they don't get but 50 of that, or?
If they do $100,000 of improvements in the house, and then they have to sell it, and the value of that has appreciated $100,000, then technically in the first year, if they did $100,000 of improvement, we would get 90% of that.
Yes, yes.
It's not common, just that our families are able to do $100,000 of improvement on a first house. It's brand new.
Yeah, I could understand, but I could understand people, putting sheds up, putting garages on the end, those type things that a lot of people do to their own houses, so it looks like it.
The most common improvements we have on our houses are fences. That is the most common thing that people do. We actually provide a storage unit on most of our houses so that families don't have to do sheds.
They're also being educated about that too.
Correct.
That if you sell in this 1 year, you're gonna, so I think that they're being educated about.
Correct, and
what
we
could
do
happen.
that from, I just did an orientation last Friday. We do it from the very first meeting we ever have with a family and before they ever sign up to be in our program. All right. So this one is new for us, ground leasing. So we are now doing ground leasing, which creates a permanent affordability situation. And so what it is that we maintain ownership of the property and we sell the improvements. And so, as an example, we're building some townhomes in Apex right now that are appraising for $450,000. The property value on that is $130,000. The improvements are $320,000. So we would sell the improvements at $320,000, maintain ownership of the ground. We would lease it at an affordable rate to the family to make sure it's still under 30% of their income. And it is a lease for 99 years. So if they choose, the appreciation rate is actually set in the ground lease. So if they sell the first year, if we have decided that the appreciation rate is 3%, they know that that property is going to sell for $320,000 plus 33%. And then what we do by keeping the land is typically the majority of your property tax. So because we are a nonprofit, we don't have to pay property tax. It allows us to protect the family from that portion of the property tax. So it helps on affordability on the front end. Any questions about that? It works a lot like a community land trust. If you've heard that model, it is essentially a community land trust without setting up a community land trust. Everybody good there? Okay. So this is some of our developments. Old Pool Place, we're currently building in. It's 114 total homes. There will be 60 single-family homes and 54 townhomes in that neighborhood. It is our largest community to date that is developed from raw land. Habitat has historically been known as a home builder. We are now a community developer. We no longer can just go in and buy infill lots because they're not affordable and we can't make them affordable. So we are developing our own land. This is, will equate to a $38 million investment in the community before we're done. We're in Stone Creek in Clayton. It is 15 single-family homes. They are on septic. It is a rural community. It is a very different model. So what I'm trying to show you here is that we do different stuff in different places. This is Flowers Place in Nightdale. It is 17 two-story single-family homes. The lots are very narrow, and we were able to fit a single-family home on it. There is a tot lot, as Nightdale calls them, or a playground in this neighborhood. We are currently have started development work on a 400-lot subdivision in the town of Garner. Wow. It will intentionally be mixed income. It will have single-family units, semi-attached townhomes, and fully attached townhomes. So some of what you haven't seen in the Habitat world, you don't typically see garages. Most of our townhomes going forward will have garages. It helps on parking, and it helps really for the family. We are looking at different housing types. We're actually looking at some ADUs because on ground lease property, we can have an ADU that may ultimately be rental.
What's an ADU?
I'm sorry, accessory dwelling unit, which is in the city of Raleigh, you can do an accessory dwelling unit by right, which on any piece of property, you can fit another, like a mother-in-law suite behind a property.
Okay.
So we are doing that to create new opportunities for us to do affordable housing. We're doing more density. We're doing new funding strategies, and we are creating new partnerships. We're working with a group called Building Independence to do some housing for intellectually and developmentally disabled families as well. And those will be rental. That's the other thing you don't typically hear about from Habitat. We don't typically do rental, but there are a few special programs where we are doing that. So the Rolesville proposal. This was our preliminary design for 4950 Burlington Mills. In the bottom right-hand corner, you will see a sketch of what the townhomes would look like. They are fairly similar to townhomes that are adjacent to this property, and we purposely kind of looked at that to make sure that we were fitting into the neighborhood that we were going into. We recommended a cottage court style neighborhood, and what that means is that all the homes face into a center green area, and so there is a center green area that these all face. Make sense? Okay. And so we recommended that we do 5 townhomes in clusters of 4, which equals a total of 20 townhomes. Each townhome is approximately 1,500 square feet and has a 1-car garage, and it would connect to Baton Road, Southtown Circle, and Bridgepoint Drive. There would be a landscape buffer on the Barrington Hall property line, and it includes a community park with a tree conservation area. So something that we did not fit exactly, but I just wanted to show you another idea for a cottage court. This is a cottage court that we're actually building in the town of Garner, in a neighborhood called Weston. It is a semi-attached townhome. So the townhomes are only attached on a storage unit that is in the back of the property. So they look like single-family homes, but they're technically attached, which allows us to put them closer together because there is a firewall.
And that little piece between them is a storage unit?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And each will have a garage.
I'm sorry?
And each will have a garage.
Typically, they have a garage in the back. Mm-hmm. We would have to be completely honest, we would have to see if we could fit this model type on that property. The RFP came up fairly quickly, so we did not have time to go to engineers and say, here's what we think. We consulted with engineers and said, this is what we think can work, and that's what we presented.
So what you have up there is not what you see up from the street then?
Correct. You would see the back of those units from the street because they face inward. On the other one, as well, you would see the front of them.
Yeah, that's from the street, you see the front.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a picture of the back of what those others, what the street.
I do not have a picture of the back of them. I don't, but I can get you one and send it to you.
And that back would be on what?
So if you were to do
Burlington
that, you
Mills
would
Road?
basically put a public alley in behind them,
Yes.
and they would face interior. So on the public alley, when you're driving on it, it would be the back of the home and the garage.
Yeah, I think in this case though, that's a street that connects the neighborhoods on each side. So
Correct.
it couldn't be an alley, it has to be a public street, I think.
Yeah, so this is really the most likely proposal, and this
Yeah.
is the one we talked about. We did talk about doing ground leasing on this to create some permanent affordability units. They wouldn't all be permanent affordability, but some would be. And this is purely in conceptual phase. That is what I have for you. You are invited to work with us. You can use a hammer and come out and volunteer. The town of Knightdale actually has come out multiple times and volunteered on our property out there, as well as the city of Raleigh has come out. You can use your voice and advocate with us. You can use your pen and either donate property or write a check, or you can shop, use your buying power and shop in any of our restores because all the proceeds go to building houses. And that is my presentation for you. I'm happy to take any questions you have, and if I don't have the answer today, I will get it for you and bring it back.
So this will sound selfish, I guess, but representing Rolesville and the town-owned property actually is owned by Rolesville residents, is what I see it as. The hardest thing for me to sell this on to the residents is having a list of people from everywhere that would be eligible to live in this community. So how do I sell that to Rolesville?
So here's what we can do. We are an equal housing lender. We have to offer the property to everyone who's eligible for it. We actually just won a fair housing award. But what we can do is market to people in the town of Rolesville. So we can host homeownership workshops. We can talk about the program. We can talk about the timing of this neighborhood and when you should get into the program if you are interested in it, but we cannot restrict it.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to, I have a friend whose mother in 1990 was a recipient off of Method Road. So and she still lives there today. So I think it just speaks volumes about the homeownership program because she was a single mom with 3 kids. And so, you know, to Paul's point, if we're looking to promote this in Rolesville and in the greater area, how long is the program typically? Because I remember 1990 it was not as long as it is today.
It takes about a year to go through the program.
Okay.
But the application process, we have people who've applied for the program 3 times before they were ever accepted. They had to go back and work on credit issues and things like that. So it is good to start talking about it early, but you want to talk about the timing of when they should apply if they are looking to live in Rolesville. It is a special thing that we would do. We don't talk about where we're going to build in the future all the time because people in the current program cannot sit and wait for a property to come up. But when we are partnering with a town on a project, something like this, like Town of Wendell, they donated some lots to us. We are going to go in and do some workshops. We are also working really hard to get in it to every municipality because you have a lot of employees who would qualify for our housing, whether it's in Rolesville or not. We're actually building off of Forestville Road coming up, and it's going to be 28 townhome lots. It's technically City of Raleigh, but it's very close to here. And so we would like to talk to your police officers, your newly unified firemen. Teachers all qualify for this. We're working on a program with the Wake County school system to be able to advertise our program to the entire school system.
And one other question about the DPA or the down payment assistant. Is that vary every house, or is it vary for every project?
Yes. It actually varies on both. It depends. We get FHLB funding as long as it's available, but when it runs out, we don't get it. So what that does is goes into the second mortgage, and we end up subsidizing it. So it's not like the family has to pay it. It becomes part of the subsidy we do.
Okay.
Question, you mentioned earlier about rentals. Is this project propose any rentals?
It does not.
Why not? Could we still have fixed incomes of disabled veterans as well as our Asian seniors?
So we actually have veterans in our program for home ownership as well as seniors. We did not propose rental because it is not something that we are currently doing on a regular basis. It is something we are starting to pilot. And so we didn't want to present something to you that we're not positive is going to work on this space. We wanted to present to you what we know, because we try to be transparent with anybody we're working with.
Can the buyer rent it out?
No, they cannot. It is written into the mortgage and the deed restrictions that they cannot rent it, that must be owner occupied. It is a default on the mortgage if they rent it out.
Any other questions?
There's a lot of good information, things I didn't know.
Yeah, about the project.
Yeah, we know that it's a lot. When we come in here, we're happy to send you these slides so that you guys can look at them closer. We did not talk about the home preservation project, but I'll give you an example of how we're using that. In the town of Garner, the 400 lot subdivision that we've started development work on, we actually are going into a neighborhood adjacent to that and doing home preservation projects on existing owner occupied housing. And so if there was eligible housing around us, we could do that. That is a program that anyone who is under 80% AMI can actually apply for. We've got some flyers for you so you guys can know about that program as well. But I didn't mention it very much in this presentation because it wasn't what we were talking about.
Are any other phones energy efficient?
They are actually extremely energy efficient. We build to advanced energy qualifications, which is as high as Energy Star. And so our homes are extremely efficient, energy efficient. Any other questions I can answer for you?
No, you answered.
Well, thank you, Pat. Appreciate you coming out
Sure.
tonight. Anybody else want to add? I know, Stephen, you on the agenda. Is anything you want to add, or?
No, I think Michael did an exceptional job just taking us from where we're at in the affordable housing plan journey, and just really understanding that, seeking the board's input in determining the type of residents that we want to put in affordable housing, and then just also understanding the selection committee selected Habitat as the first choice to start this affordable housing journey in Rolesville as well, and then just understanding that this is the beginning. So, holistically, we want to meet the needs of all residents and citizens, understanding that our seniors are a big priority here in terms of how we can meet their needs holistically from a health and wellness standpoint, but then also from an affordability and livability standpoint as well. And then even also Habitat is looking to potentially maybe have a resource in Rolesville as well. So, I think the opportunity is there, but this is just the beginning of the journey. So we're really looking for the board's leadership in terms of the input and determining the how, and then also approval of a plan, hopefully by the end of the summer as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Pat.
Thank
And,
you.
can you come up and say all that again in the mic? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, but next time I might make you do that, so come up. So, yeah.
I heard you good. We heard you good, but I'm not sure if everybody else did. But do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for all the input. I really appreciate that. Thanks. All right, new items of business is our, we had a legislative hearing for TA 2504 that we have delayed that to when?
September 2nd.
I guess my comment on that, Eric, is Meredith, and maybe refresh my memory, April, since you're kind of on the planning board, we hadn't seen this before tonight to vote on, and I was thinking most of these text amendments, she was doing a very good job of bringing them in, and we would do them in a workshop and stuff, and because it's very detailed. If you look in here with the changes and all that stuff, so I want to see between now and his date is let's have a workshop on this so the board can ask questions. Yeah, and I would say I was thinking Meredith was doing them all the text amendments in a workshop, or most of them anyway.
Right, so we're just to give us an explanation.
A little heads up.
Because I know some of the commissioners had questions on what they saw in the package, so let's make sure we get a workshop in the queue, if you don't mind, before it comes up again. Thanks, appreciate that. And then we got a couple of items that Commissioner Vilga has here, which is the revision to the tree board bylaws. And I see you got June. June was here. June left, so.
June's right there.
Oh, there he is. There he is. You've been moving around like a. I see you on the front and everywhere. So, so you got it then.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it.
So, good evening, Commissioners and Mayor. We have had a staff-run tree board for a while now. We're making it public. So this has been in the works for a while. We wanted to do it earlier, but it's just run into some just staffing issues and other things. We finally are at the point where we're ready to finally make it public. So we have our bylaws, which were attached in the packet. We were ready to get this thing kicked off, but we've already gone ahead and interviewed potential members, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But we wanted to go ahead and just run the bylaws by you and make a revision to them. So the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board has already looked at these bylaws, and they recommend them to the board for approval. And the revision is going to be that this board will approve the members to the tree board with the approval and the recommendation of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. So the first item is just that revision, making it where this board will appoint those members instead of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. And then the second item was going to be just the recommendation of the applicants themselves. So I guess I don't know if you had any questions, but it's a very quick and easy change that we wanted to make. I don't know if you had any questions before we attempt to take a vote on that.
No, Paul, you got any comments? I know you.
No, it was just a cleanup of the tree board bylaws. We just want to make sure there was discussion and everything else to make sure this board kind of got an oversight of who we're putting on boards and stuff. We don't want to just hand it down, so we just want to make sure that we get the right people in the right spot. Also using Parab to help us and assist us in interviewing the people we have, because otherwise we'd be interviewing everybody we put on the board. So them interviewing them, bringing forward the best they feel would help, and then us voting on that from there.
Yeah, basically it looks like just about any other board in setup and how you get on the board and.
Yeah, same setup.
How you do your
only
chairman.
difference there is we don't have a specific number for that board. We kept it's between 5 and 9, just in case you have somebody come in that's an expert or can offer something else and we can add them to the board. We're not kind of tied down.
Yeah, I didn't see anything strange about this board that's outside of our norm.
And also, if the board is no longer needed, Parab can vote to remove that subcommittee once we don't need it anymore. We should always need it, but just in case, that's written in there. So
Yeah, I thought it was required to be that tree
Tree City, yep.
Tree
Yep.
City thing.
Right.
So
Yep.
it was kind of required for that.
Yeah, we were taking care of it before with other means, and this will be our official tree board now, so.
With a number of years service the same as the other.
Yes, yep.
So did you want us to take action on it? I know it's presented sort of as a revision.
Yeah, so I can make a motion on that. I'm just going to move to recommend the revision of the tree board bylaws to change from approval from PARAB to approval for the town board.
Here, second?
I'll second.
It's your call. All right, so I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Sounds like the ayes have it. Ayes do have it, so motion is approved. So thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
Yep, and then the second one we're going to work on, he's going to actually try to pronounce all the names we have.
We've got some fun ones
I
here,
gave
but-
him that honor that he could do that for me, but there's 5 people they've interviewed, selected, feel like they'd be a good part of the tree board to get it kicked off. We'll have him mention the names, and then I can make a motion on that as well.
Yes, so we interviewed candidates on June 11th. There was one who had previously come to a Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting back in March, because we had been advertising for a minute. But those 5 people we interviewed, and we thought they were going to be a really good fit. They come from a variety of walks of life. Some have got some experience in whether they studied biology in college or whatever it may be. So we had a really good mix of residents. But the 5 that myself and the 2 pair members interviewed and recommended to the board are Tammy Lesko, Joanna Sia, Laura McDonald, Emily Marquardt, and James Bradford. And we'd like to have a vote on those 5 to start off the tree board as the inaugural members.
Okay, any other discussion on that, Paul?
No.
All right, so I ask for a motion.
So moved.
There's a second.
Second.
I think that was Linwood.
That is
I got a
correct.
motion, second. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sounds like the ayes have it. Ayes do
So
have
I
it.
got one more, sorry. Just keep that.
that
I'm
one's
sorry,
approved.
it was actually listed, okay. We have an actual opening right now, our high school position we have on our para board. I believe they graduated.
Yes, going to West Point.
I'm going to West Point, there you go.
That's what's up.
And we have a new person that would like to take that spot, and he will recommend that person as well.
Her name is Lily Marquardt. And so she's very interested. She attended, it was the meeting back in May, correct? I missed that meeting, but she's very interested and would like to take that seat. And so we
Good.
recommend.
Is she in the leadership program or has been, or do you know?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
I
Yeah.
don't recall the name. Do you, Paul?
No.
You said West Point. That says enough.
Any other discussion on that? Not hearing it. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion. Is that a second?
Second. Oh,
Go ahead.
I don't, you take it.
it's fine. It's fine.
Got a motion, second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sounds like the ayes have it. Ayes do have it. The motion's approved, so thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Paul.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
you,
I'm
Eddie,
done now.
appreciate your work
You done?
I'm done.
under the leadership of the great Green back there, so June Green.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But so thanks all very much, appreciate it. Got some business done. So that kind of wraps up the agenda. We do have a couple communications we're going to receive, one from the attorney, Aaron. So thank you for being here, filling in so well for our regular attorney, Neil, Mr. Neil. I think you did a good job on finalizing the fire department merger today, so thank you for that.
She did.
Yeah, appreciate that. And I think it's one item, before you give your report, I think it's one item we got to take care of. Do you know what item I'm talking about, the property? Between you and Eric, maybe explain, and then the board, I'm going to ask them to take action on.
Do you want to take it? Or you
Um,
I'll pick one if I need to.
Yeah, so as you know, we celebrated unification today. Part of the unification is not just the people, transition, but the transition of property. And so with the unification came the transition of several properties throughout the town of Rolesville. One of those properties we're referring to as the property off Old Pierce Farm, Old Pierce Road. And so that property is one that the Rolesville Rural Fire Department had purchased for future expansion and placement of a fire substation to be able to serve that area. Today we're asking for permission for you to give myself and the town attorney permission to work on what is referred to as a restrictive covenant. And so that will help kind of solidify the purpose of that as being a property that we intend to reserve and retain for future expansion of fire services into that area. And so that's what we're talked about with them. Similar to the Burlington Mills property that transitioned over that had a deed restriction that essentially assigned it and says this property, we own it for this intended purpose. And so that's what I'm looking to you all for guidance on today, and to get your permission and or blessing for me and the town attorney to work together to go through and build out the necessary language to establish that restrictive covenant for that property.
The initial agreement just did not contemplate that, so we could not add that without board action. And so at this point, what the plan is to move forward and figure out what exactly that language would be going forward. So.
Yep.
Yeah, so is it just fire only, or is it for public safety items?
I'm understanding it to be public safety.
Public safety.
Yeah, so it could be rescue or police. We could use it for police.
But there's a lot of logistics that need to be figured out related to that and how it would apply, enforceability and things like that. So Eric and Dave can, and I'll help obviously as well, but work together to figure out what that language would look like to move forward.
And if I can add just a little bit, Frank Pierce, who we all know and love, negotiated the purchase of that for the fire department. And at the time, the owners of the property requested that it be reserved for the fire department for a substation, public safety. And he promised it would. It never got in the deed originally. And at the 11th hour, this came up. And that's why we are where we are. So there was always the intent for that to be, and I think the town doesn't have a problem with that, so hopefully the board doesn't either.
Yes, if that would be your will, obviously it'll come back to you for approval and all of that sort of thing, but if you would like to move forward, just as Michael said.
Yeah, I think, and you're kind of speaking on behalf of the fire department.
Right.
Their
And I can't vote.
So you can't vote, but you can speak as their attorney, I think. I think it's good to wrap this up, unless we got a reason not to wrap this up. It came close to holding up the show, and it would cost, I don't know, cost us right much money if we, as a town, if we didn't go through it today. So it was a good job of you guys pulling everything together to make it happen. But I do think we need to wrap it up. And if any comments do anybody want to make, Paul? I know you're reaching for.
No, we're just in favor for it. I'm in favor for it. I can.
So am I.
That's what. Yep. I don't have a problem at all.
And again, I don't think we need.
Yeah.
I don't think there needs to be an action taken tonight, other than hearing.
Work on it and bring it back to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get it done.
Yep.
Sounds good, Tim.
We're at the finish line.
Thank you.
We're at the finish line.
So now you can give us a report for whatever you got for the last, ever since Dave's been gone.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm glad to have been a part of tonight's celebration. It was pretty awesome to see it so full and get to celebrate such a cool moment. So thank you for letting me be a part of that. Dave sends his regards. He will be back with you at the next meeting. He is currently in Scotland, so he says hello from Scotland. And yeah, that is all I have to report. So thank you so much.
I think I heard you was recognized tonight as deputy town attorney. Is that officially?
Well, it's something somebody's called me. I have no idea.
So
I do believe that is the title that has been given to me.
I think maybe Christina would get her a name tag, deputy town attorney,
so she don't
I think
sit
I
up
may
here.
have one. When I'm at planning board, I have one, so it's somewhere.
Okay, because we don't need her sitting there to Dave, you know. So. But yeah, so it needs to have your title on there if we,
Oh, how about that?
Little Vanna White action, man.
Well, thank you.
That was quick. That was
There we
quick,
go.
They were real slight.
And
yeah.
done.
You did a great job on that. You give Christina an assignment, and it's just like that. So, so thanks, and appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And let me say, too, thank you so much for everyone's help in the board, and Eric and Amy and Michael for getting us to that finish line, too. I should have said that sooner. It has been a good few days to finally see this come to fruition, so.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, Eric, I think you're between us and adjournment.
4th of July coming up. Festivities start at 5 p.m. Preparations have started long before that, so we're inviting everybody out. Parks and Recreation Department's done putting a lot of work to make sure there's a good host of food trucks, inflatables, band, music, and most importantly, just community. And so please come out. We've been taking a lot of steps to ensure a happy, fun, and safe experience. Several meetings with the fire department, police department, and such on logistics. And so ask everybody to come out early, don't park illegally, and to be ready to take your time making your way out if you stay. If you stay for the whole fireworks show, which we're looking forward to. If you're sitting in the field, you want to look over the picnic area towards the fireworks. A lot of people find themselves looking in the wrong direction for some reason, but they've always been in the same spot and will be in the same spot this year. So we're just inviting everybody to come out and have a good time. It'll be warm, so please hydrate, and it should be a nice little time.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything from the board? Any last comments from the board? Okay, we'll wrap it up. I always say we got Matt back tonight. Yeah. He was been missing in action, had that honeymoon thing to take care of, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, congratulations on that, and welcome back. Good to have you back. And Matt and Candace and I'll be working on the show this week for next week. The show, and I think we're going to have Officer Kenyon on there. And I think most of y'all know him as Tony's son, and he has a hometown story to tell, you know. Grew up here, went off to college, come back, working in the town as a police officer, played football, helping the football team, local football teams. Lives in town, one of the first people to live in Cobblestone. Great little story to tell, so I think that's going to be a show if we can get everything worked out. So, and then we got a second good guest too, but we'll probably save that for a surprise. But thank everybody for participating tonight. We got through pretty quickly. I didn't think we'd get through this early. We had a lot on the agenda, but it worked out pretty good. So thanks everybody. And without hearing the opposition, we are adjourned. Thank you.